Hello there. We're back. We started the outline yesterday. We're going to continue on. I do apologize. I was supposed to stream a lot of this earlier, but IRL happened. Because IRL always happens. So, if I remember correctly, we started Brain and Fear, Spaces That Turn Against You. Okay, so we literally just got started. There's a couple things I forgot to add that we'll add right now. And we'll go from there. Okay, what do I want to do here? What do I want to do here? Just a couple of notes for myself because I gotta make sure I do this a specific way. Okay. Okay. This. Okay, this definitely has to be spoiler free because I know people still haven't finished the game. Uh. Okay. All right. That's just notes for myself. I gotta make sure I do this specifically because I know people still haven't beaten Silent Hill F yet, and I don't want to get myself in FNAF rabbit holes because once you pass that event horizon, there's no coming back. Okay. So there's a couple things I do need to add. I was looking at this earlier. We're gonna change some things around. Also, if you're new around these parts, don't drink unless you're an adult. All right. Okay, so fear begins in the Amygdala, reacts before conscious thought. Hmm. This must have bought you. It's supposed to buy you with a Trena. Adrenaline and bread. Isolation amplifies perception. I don't like the way that sounds, so we'll change that. When isolated, when isolated, when isolated, when isolated, when isolated. Absence of others. The absence of others. The absence of others. When isolated, the absence of others. X. Right, we can get into that later. I just need to make sure I have that so I can actually delve deeper into that. That's good. Anticipatory fear is fine. We've talked about that before. Key idea horror exploits the brain's vigilance. Every sound and shadow and ocular cue feel like danger. Okay, that's fine. Okay, spaces that turn against you. So, familiar spaces suddenly feel alien. Such as homes, definitely schools. So just home schools. Hmm. We'll put hospitals. Because we love hospitals in horror games, hospitals, etc. etc. These places become distorted. I'm gonna be working until I actually go to dinner chow, so we still got a lot of time. Again, I do apologize, but IRL kicked my ass earlier. Long to TLDR, my Mustang starter went out and I had to change it. I thought it was gonna be a quick job, but no, it wasn't a quick job. It wasn't a quick job at all. It took a few hours, but it's finally fixed. So tomorrow we'll do multiple streams of this. These places become distorted. These places become distorted. There's more to this we can do. These places become distorted. And distorted. And familiarity starts to dissipate. Disappear. Okay. Places once considered safe amplify fear when you're alone. I mean, that's fine. Oh, and again, for first timers here, I do these outlines before I do all my work via stream for verification purposes and amongst other things. I do my outlines first, then I do my narratives. So outlines are generally like we don't really need to worry about things that much in outlines. It's just a quick brainstorming about what I'm gonna do. Then the narratives are take a while to do. Like the other video that I'm working on, that's at 20 videos so far. But yeah, we do outline slash brainstorming. Then we start writing the narrative via stream. Then I finally start recording the video. So these take a long time to do. So this one will probably be out in like 2 weeks or so, probably 3, because this one's gonna be a little bit lengthier than my normal videos. I'm looking for an hour at least for this one. The environment becomes hostile. The environment becomes hostile. The layout feels okay. All right, I think that's good. So we, as usual, we started out with the brain. We started out with spaces that turn against you. What do we want to do next? Also, shoutouts to this Resident Evil music. It really does set the tone. Spaces that turn against you. Let's do auditory next. Yeah, let's do auditory. Let's focus on silence. Yeah, silence. So, section 2. What? Section 2. Section 2 can be silenced. Let's call it the weight of silence. The weight of silence. So what do you want to do here? Let's go. Silence. Okay. No. Such as making the player hyper aware. Silence builds tension in a plethora of ways, such as making the player hyper aware of the area around them. For example, we're listening to ambience for Resident Evil right now. We hear the zombies in the background. So every moan, echo. Oh, yeah, here, there it is. There's the theme. Every moan, echo. No, every moan, echo. I would use drip. Water's generally used. No, hum. There's a lot of hums. Every echo, moan. Every moan, echo, and hum becomes a countdown to something unseen. Okay, next. We can, I guess, we can add anticipation can work here, sort of, because in that silence you're generally just waiting. Oh, also, don't mind me. I think aloud, so if you just hear me yapping, I'm just thinking while I talk. Anticipation. I cannot spell anticipation. Anticipation. Anticipation reads fear faster than violence. Violence. For example, the waiting. It's always the waiting that gets, especially with me. Like the waiting always just kills me. The waiting. For a sound. For a sound. For sound. Movement. Or any other audio cue. Yeah, sound, movement. We'll put screen. No, that's no. We don't need that. Movement. And I think I've mentioned this before. Like, if I'm playing RE1 remake, And as soon as I hear the screech from Hunter Alphas, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Especially in Mansion 2. Just the moment you get in there and you hear that screech, it's like, oh crap, here we go. So every hallway, I'm just waiting for the audio cues from them because I know all hell's about to break loose as soon as they show up. All right. Sounds builds tension in a plethora of ways, such as making the player hyper aware of the area around them. Every moan, echo, and hum becomes a countdown to something unseen. Anticipation breeds fear faster than violence, the waiting for a sound, movement, or any other audio cue, actually. Auditory cue. So, carrying on. Again, don't drink unless you're an adult. What else can I put here? Wait. I think this can work. Horror. Horror thrives in the space between expectation and reality. Forcing the player. Forcing the player. Forcing the player to fear more than the event itself. Okay. All right. Do we need to add anything else to this? So we've talked about brain and fear, spaces that turn against you, the weight of silence. I mean, we can probably do distorted perception again. Again, don't mind me, I'm just thinking to myself. Alright, while we do that, let's switch tones. What do we want to listen to? Ooh. There we go. Let's do distorted perception again. But we'll change it up from the other video. So we have distorted perception in the other thing I'm doing. Section 3. Let's do distorted perception and memory. Memory and distorted perception. Let's do like another 10 minutes. Because it's getting close to that time. And again, I promise tomorrow we'll do multiple streams of this. It's just IRL was just kicking my butt today. It's all good. It's all good. So memory and distorted perception. So isolation and memory is funny because the longer you stay isolated, the more effect it has on your brain. You start deteriorating. Your mind starts deteriorating in a sense. You start forgetting things. Yeah, this can work. Okay. Yeah, this can work. We'll just say isolation corrupts memory. Yeah, that'll definitely work. Isolation. Isolation corrupts memory. The brain. And if anybody ever has a request, just let me know. I love doing these. It lets me put that degree that I got years ago to work. But I have my own projects that I'm doing right now, but this is part of it. But requests take top priority. So if I get a request to do something, it takes top priority. And 9 times out of 10, I will probably have the lore for it because I had a very weird and boring childhood. I just read a lot of stuff, and played a lot of video games, specifically horror games. Brain and bisection of the mind starts deteriorating. Well, deteriorating is kind of, we'll just say starts acting up because deteriorating is kind of like intense. Starts. Brain and bisection of the mind starts acting up. Isolated. For example, that's fine. I'll figure that one out later. That's fine. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what to do here. I know how we can tie this in. Horror. Horror exploits this by subtle environmental changes. Y'all know the ones. Wasn't that chair there before? Wait, that chair is down now, but I remember it being upward. Was that window always open? Objects move. Objects move. Lighting changes. Lighting changes. Etc. We don't need to really put that much. I'm pretty sure people will get this. Etc. So, what does this do to us? We begin not trusting what we see. Okay. The longer you remain isolated, the more the mind, the more the mind, the more the mind in a way becomes hostile, sort of. No, the more the trust in the mind dwindles. There we go. Like each backtrack, well, each return trip. Each return trip to familiar areas feels foreign. I need to give an example of this. No, let's be cheeky. As though environment is so environment. Their environment. Okay, that's a funny sentence. Okay, I know what to do here. For those think how should I word this? Look how the environment is with the flora and the decay, and they're intertwined together. How the heck should I write that? I want to write this in a specific way. Just give me a moment. Damn it. Flowers. Like, let's say vibrant. Yeah, it's kind of vibrant. Vibrant colors and decay intertwine. Intertwine. This, in a sense, shows how perception how perception collapses when isolation. This is gonna be very weird for me to explain later. Isolation rewrites the script. This is gonna be a fun one. Okay. Let's read this and we'll see how this sounds. So, memory and distorted perception. Isolation corrupts memory. The brain, and by extension the mind, starts acting up the longer someone remains isolated. For example, gaps in memory are a common thing. The brain starts to fill in those gaps, but whatever it fills may not be the actual truth. Horror exploits this with subtle. This is why we prefer. With subtle environmental changes, objects move, lighting changes. We begin not trusting what we see. We begin not trusting what we see. The longer you remain isolated, the more the trust in the mind dwindles. Each return to familiar areas feel foreign, as though the environment remembers you differently than you remember. I can reword that better. Okay, for those who play Silent Hill, think of it like this: flowers, vibrant colors, and decay intertwine. This, in a sense, shows how perception collapses when isolation rewrites the script from the inside out. That's gonna be fun. Okay, unfortunately, I do have to wrap this up because it's dinner time. Tomorrow, I will do multiple streams of this. Anyways, thank you for stopping by, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one.